guys, so as I suspected, the weather is not going to be so good for us this weekend to start on the ceramic coating, so more to follow on that. But what we're going to do this weekend is we're going to go through our review on the last 2 trips and how the motorhome did with the chassis, the coach. I'm gonna try to go through as much as I can this weekend for you guys, okay, to help you guys out if you guys were thinking of purchasing this model or something similar. So we'll start on the chassis. Okay, again guys, this is a 2021 Thor Magnitude with 4x4. This is the model SV34. So with this year's model, it sits on a 2020 Ford F550 chassis, and with this year's model compared to the 2020 Thor Magnitudes model, it had a 2019 chassis, and what they added was they added a 10-speed versus a 6-speed. And what they also did is they upgraded the grill so that there's more airflow. So that worked very well for us on the last 2 trips that we were able to tow with. It worked so great. So let's go into the inside. So really quick, the passenger seats are manual. So this is the only lever. It was kind of, it sucked for me, but I mean, I'm getting used to it because our Duramax had electric seating. There's no heating, there's no air seats or anything, and we had all of that in our Duramax Denali. So none of that in the passenger seat, but the driver's seat it is electric, so you can adjust it, and there's lumbar support down there. I'll go around and swing over to the other side. So that's included on the driver's seat, just not the passenger seat. So these sensors that I mentioned on my second video, guys, they're super sensitive because we had the truck locked, and so up here there's a little, they gave us a cover, a privacy cover. So it was covering this whole thing. I ran into the coach to use the restroom. Didn't realize, well, Diesel was in here and it was fine. I ran in to use the restroom and I heard an alarm go off. I'm in the restroom like, whose alarm's going off? Well, it was us. We were the idiots. Kevin runs in and was asking me where the keys. He turned it off. All good. So just an FYI, they work really well. And it's even with the covering it triggered me, but when Diesel was in here the whole time, it didn't go off. But if you have a big dog and your dog makes a lot of noise, just be aware. We were in Arizona at that time, so the whole neighborhood heard the alarm going off, so not good. Okay, now into the coach. So when the alarm was going off, I could barely hear it when I was in the restroom, so the sound in this coach is not so bad. So the last trip, our boondocking trip, we did hear in the middle of the night loud music and stuff, but it didn't disrupt us as much as when we were in our Lance. And I mean, our Lance was really small, so the walls were really thin. So I feel like the sound in here, like, it's very well insulated, so it wasn't so bad. And the bed sleeps great. No issues there. It is a tilt-a-king, so when you have the slide out closed, you have to tilt it up to close the slide out, so we just have that one slide out. I know there's the smaller model that has a slide out specifically for the bed, so I mean, the tilt mattress doesn't bother us at all. It's easy to use. We just flip the switch, it comes down, not a big issue. So quick tip, guys, we do go to the desert a lot, so we left the plastic on the mattress. We did that in our Lance too, and guys, it works out really well because we track in a lot of dirt, and we put the comforter on, and honestly, it doesn't bother us, but if it bothers you, then take off the plastic. But we left it on because we do go to the dirt a lot, so That plastic just keeps everything clean. Might be weird, but it works for us. I mentioned before, we optioned out the sleeper sofa for theater seats. But everything else, guys, in this rig is pretty much standard. Everything that I'm going to show you that comes in this rig, they're standard. And this was the only thing that we optioned out. And I think that's it. Even if you didn't option anything out, pretty much this motorhome, I want to say, this is a Super C, I want to say has almost all the amenities a Class A motorhome would have. One thing real quick, guys, when you're doing your walkthrough, I know you're super excited, make sure to do a full check of everything, because guys, we found out on our first trip, no ice maker. An ice maker, the ice maker comes standard with this residential fridge. It's in all of their brochures, it's in all their sales and stuff. We checked all our manuals, our warranty documents. We made sure the serial number matched up with the fridge. I don't know what happened to the ice maker, but we reached out to Thor, we reached out to the dealership, and they were super responsive. They're taking care of it, so we'll keep you guys updated on that as soon as we hear back. Again, we are still missing they're also still working on that panel, this mirror panel. And they're also working on that outdoor kitchen with the faux door, so that it's covering all the plumbing in that sink, so you're not, because right now it's exposed. So they are working on that, and yes, they are super responsive. They are helping us. I mean, other than those 3 items, they're working on it. Okay, moving on into power, guys. So, as I mentioned, all the standard options that come in this coach, there is solar and there is an inverter. Let me get this switch on. Okay, so I just turned on the switch and I just turned on the inverter. The inverter basically powers the fridge and some outlets. FYI, if you are boondocking and you are using your inverter, just note that the outlet under there will not work, and the kitchen outlet, the tower power, this will not work either. So if you guys want to run coffee or whatever, you will have to turn on your generator for those outlets. The room does work, and I want to say the room works. So I mean, I guess if you don't want to turn on your generator, you could probably just use like a power cord or something. Because honestly, guys, if I start complaining again about something, Kevin's gonna jump the gun and start buying upgrades. It seems anytime I make a complaint about something he likes, he upgrades it. And you know that saying, happy wife, happy life? He'll be like, oh, well, there you go. Okay, so back to this. See, the inverter, solar, and guys, the solar panels they installed is actually just enough to tenderize the batteries. So just a heads up on that. And here are the batteries. They are underneath the stairs. This is the stairs that we walked up in, and there it is on I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is sitting on a rack that can possibly hold 4. So like I said, if I start complaining, Kevin's gonna start buying stuff for this, and not now, maybe later. Maybe later we'll look into, you know, upgrading power and whatnot. But other than that, these items that come standard, it works out pretty great. So I feel like we definitely got, you know, our bang for our buck on this motorhome. So guys, speaking of power, on our last trip, the boondocking trip, we ran into our first slide out scare. Guys, I was gonna have like multiple heart attacks because it wasn't coming in. So there are ways to reset your slide out if for some reason it's not coming in. So here is option number 1. You go into your multiplex, and depending if it's out or in, what you're gonna do is you're gonna from the opposite end depending if your slide out is in or out, so we couldn't retract it. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that resets the motor. So if you're doing that, and then vice versa, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then hold on to it. That didn't work. Again, multiple heart attacks. So I'll show you how we got around it. And guys, you're gonna want to cuss out your partner a couple times in a moment like this, especially when we're boondocking, where we were by ourselves, and this is our first motorhome with the slide out, or Lance did not have a slide out. But I swear, you guys throw a couple cuss words at each other and calm down, and you guys have to work as a team, because I had to be in here trying to reset it to see if it would start, and Kevin had to go under the basement, I'll show you guys next, to reset that as well. So just when you're in a situation like this, guys, just calm down, take some deep breaths, maybe throw in some cuss words, and then calm down and just get along and work as a team, because you're not gonna get home if you don't get this resolved. So we're obviously home and we got it resolved, so I'll show you guys under the basement what we had to do. Okay guys, under the basement, basically under the cab, under the chassis, whatever. So we had to, I believe it's this one. Okay, yes, it's this one. I do recommend, so that is your control panel. You see guys how it's in there? Like, you gotta turn your head upside down, and I think that was probably one of the frustrating moments, because guys, Kevin's colorblind, so when he was trying to reset this, the lights kept flashing and he couldn't tell. So I'm gonna flip this. We're probably gonna try to remount this so that it's easier to, maybe like right here so we could see it, or something better than this, because you have to flip your head under and try to reset it. So I'm flipping the camera under. So guys, in that this square, you're gonna need like a pin or like a flathead or something small enough to get in there. What you're gonna do is you're going to tap that reset button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on the last one you're gonna hold it. Once you hold it, the lights, the red and green lights, will start blinking, and that'll reset it. So we had to do that. It wasn't working, so 5th heart attack. So what we did was we unplugged it and plugged it back in just to give it a reset, and eventually, guys, we did get it in. So you need to know this on any motorhome that you're gonna buy, guys, because I guarantee you, this was just, it's only been like about a month and a half since we've had this. You will run into an issue, definitely. And no matter what issue it is, it could be anything, guys. So just make sure you guys know where that switch is, and most important, work as a team, because you won't get anything accomplished if you guys don't work as a team. So we ended that night with, you know, a great steak and some crab legs, if you guys watched our last video. And that was like, it wasn't date night, it was more of a congratulations, we made it without killing each other moment. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please click the thumbs up and subscribe. Like I mentioned before, it wasn't a good weekend to do the ceramic coating. And did I mention it's gonna be a DIY project? So yeah, so we're going to, well, this, guys, we're gonna tackle this on by ourselves. So subscribe, hit that notification, and you'll see our next video. Or just follow us on Facebook, Instagram. The links are above. I'll put the links below in the description. So just follow us, and you'll get more live updates on Instagram as to when we'll drop with our next video and whatnot. So it's gonna be a huge project, guys, so stay tuned.